this is the thing that I really need folks to understand, and I have been deeply involved in this research for 20 plus years, know all of the folks on the other side pushing this stuff, know the ins and outs of all of their stuff and what's good and what's not. Here's the basic pattern behind these voucher systems. After a few pilot-size programs showed a handful of tiny positive effects for kids who switched from public to private school in the 1990s, every single program, the bigger and the more recent the voucher system, the worse the results have been to kids. I'm going to repeat that again. The bigger and the more recent the voucher system, the worse the results have been for kids, both in terms of budgets, we've talked a lot about that, but then also in terms of academic performance. Let me give you an order of magnitude of what I'm talking about here. So I mentioned a second ago that roughly 3/4 of children using vouchers are already in private school, and that has been true from the beginning. But for that quarter or so, for that 25% of children who do switch, right up until the pandemic, we actually had a lot of information about how those children do because we knew what they were doing through state requirements on public schools. We knew what they were doing in the public school side of things. And over the last decade, in Louisiana, in Ohio, in Indiana, and DC, the 4 states that have really contributed to the knowledge base on this question because of their transparency requirements, really up to and including through the pandemic era, you saw test score declines for kids who switched from public to private school as high as what Katrina did to the test scores of kids in New Orleans for those kids in Louisiana, and on par and even exceeding what the COVID-19 pandemic did to learning loss rates today. It's some of the worst results we've ever seen on any research question in the history of education research or social science.